his last breaths as he was dying from shrapnel and overpressure was an American commando with his foot on his chest. And that led up to, 2 weeks later, us being able to, in one night, hit every target, driving Zarqawi to his final last safe house, where they drop 2 guided bombs, 2 munitions on top of him.
Did you guys know he was on the run while you were hitting these targets?
Yeah. Well, during the interrogation of people on target, you're starting to get this picture of the spider web, and things were being corroborated from multiple targets where people were saying the same things. Like, yeah, this guy's going here, this guy's going there. Everybody's like, this address, this house, this location, are all like driving back to these limited, like on the location kill board, there's only a few left, and we've now seen that they're all going back to those same places. And it wasn't, I wasn't on target when he died, but when we get back, we're unloading, we're pulling belts, we're, open bolt machine guns from 240s and 249s, start stripping gear, start repacking speed bags, starting to change batteries, and everything goes black. Like all comms get shut down, all jammers get turned on, so sat phones aren't working, like nothing's working. And all cell phones, all internet, all landlines, everything gets cut for the whole entire compound. And that's when I was like, did this just happen? Only a couple of, that only happens for a couple of reasons. One, somebody messed up really bad, and they have to shut down all comms out. 2 is something really good happened, and you have to shut down all comms out. I was really hoping it was the latter, and it ultimately ended up being the latter.
When did you get the news?
When almost the same time that I heard that George Bush is going to fly in to shake everybody's hand.
No shit.
Dude. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't think, I know it's been leaked, and there's photos that have been leaked, but, that was Regiment, Delta Force, and 7th Group SIF all standing there shaking hands and George Bush walked down, and he didn't do that for publicity. Nobody knew. He just hopped on a plane and flew over there to shake the hands of the men that killed the guy that had been doing so many unspeakable acts to so many innocent people.
Did it register at that point?
No.
Still didn't register.
Still doesn't.
It still doesn't. Damn, Tim.
There's a moment in history, and how do you know that you're there? I didn't deserve to be there. I was still an immature teammate, not supporting in any way. So there's a lot of emotions of shame and regret. I would have wished so desperately to be the 2010 operator back in 2006. Just 4 years, man. Just give me 4 years, a couple of combat deployments, a couple more schools, a little bit more understanding of how to actually contribute. Instead, I'm just looking at a door in front of me, and if the number one guy goes right, I'm gonna go left. That's where I was, and that sucks.
Well, you were hand selected by a very seasoned operator for, I'm sure, a very good reason.
Yeah. I bet if you ask John if he could go back and make that the same decision, he'd make a different decision.
Well, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
so it was pretty epic.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
That is, did you know the guy that found him?
Yeah. And one of Matt Smith, who's the director of training for Sheepdog Response, retired Special Forces Sergeant Major. He's worked for a bunch of incredible units, special missions units. He was longtime friends, and so getting to hear the stories and firsthand, and being there and getting to tie what happened at that target with where we were at the exact same time, is going back to my journals too, and re-looking at that night, which target we're at and which people we were questioning when that happened. And we roll back in to the compound when they finally dropped those bombs. And, we'd just been in another fight with a different QRF So like the elevation and adrenaline, is freaking out. And then like, wait, what just happened? Like, it's over? Like we got him?
Damn. Do you want to talk about what happened when they found him, or should we keep that offline? Totally up to you.
I want everybody to know that this dude, that Zarqawi, radical, murderous, raping, torturing fanatic, burnt people alive, dragged them through the street, tortured. I don't know. If you're to, how many do you think, Shawn, under his lieutenants, how many people did he torture and murder? Specifically Iraqis. Tens of thousands?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Thousands, tens of thousands?
It's gotta be. I remember rolling up to locations where they would put people's heads on cinder blocks and on huge blocks, and then just launch cinder blocks straight down and pop people's heads like a grape. I've seen pregnant women, get hung on hooks just to bleed out with the fetus inside, and he was part of all that.
Yeah, he's orchestrating all
beheadings, all of the shit that you saw over there. He had a hand in.
Yeah. So his last breaths as he was dying from shrapnel and overpressure was an American commando with his foot on his chest. That's I'm not sure Americans have the appetite or the tolerance for what it means to win a war. In 1941, a day that'll live in infamy, and we were attacked at Pearl Harbor, it finished with us dropping 2 nuclear bombs on a people that wouldn't submit. Behind every blade of grass, when you come onto the motherland of Japan, you'll find somebody fighting to protect Japan. Like, fine, Hiroshima. Are you done? No. Fine, here's Nagasaki. Are you done? Then we won that war, right? In Europe, as we pushed into Berlin, it was absolute destruction and carnage of everything. If you look at photographs from early 1945, late 1944, it is destruction in epic proportions. There's no moral equivalency when you're trying to win a war. There's winning and there's losing. That's it. And we're looking for like some moral justification about how we're going to be fighting these wars these days. And there's winning and there's losing. And so I realize that now people may not have the appetite of what it looks like to have an American standing with his boot on the chest of one of the evilest men to walk the face of the planet in my lifetime. But that is a beautiful, glorious thing. And I hope they can understand why that's important.
I think most people listening here are going to understand why that's important. But thank you for sharing that.
America.
That's right.
Greatest country in history.
That's right. So what do you do? So you take out Zarqawi. You guys take out Zarqawi. How much longer do you have on this deployment?
I mean, that was the point of the deployment. So we come back, keeping the momentum and making sure that none of his lieutenants are promoted. So keeping that initiative where we continue to hit targets rapidly over the next few nights. We maybe had a 48-hour stand down as the president came, which is another one of the reasons why all the comms were shut down. And once you're told that, President Bush is coming in, everybody goes from the task force and is there, and they shake hands and a few pictures are taken and he bounces. And then it was like, let's go back to work. Every single bit of information that was taken off of every single one of those targets on that night is then reprioritized into a new target list as we, taking this guy off, but elevating these 2 guys that we haven't yet found, and trying to keep that momentum to secure and stabilize that battle space. And then you go home.
How many top terrorists do you think were neutralized that deployment?
50
50?
top. You know, like, I mean, there's a
That's
lot.
a whole deck of cards.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, in that deck of cards, I think there's 3 or 4 just in that specific 2004, 5, 6, 7 deck of cards. I think there's like 5 or 6 dudes that were in that deck
Nice.
in that one deployment. But then, you know, the lieutenants for every single one of them respectively, like those guys went to the dirt as well.
So there was a 48-hour window of,
I worked
hey
out
guys,
like 9 times.
You got to meet the president. I'm sorry, but we got to slow down the ops because you got to meet the president, and then it's right back at it.
Yeah.
Right back to work.
As it should be.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.